Hello everyone, and welcome back to Of Bricks and Dragons. So today we are looking at the Lego set, as I get the box here, 75342. We have the Republic tank, Republic fighter tank is how they labeled it on the box. It is the tank that we would have seen during the Clone Wars. I know this has been out for just a little bit. I do have an older version. I know some people, when that one came out, and I'd seen reviews of that one, people had kind of talked about it or whatever. I kind of dusted it off because it's been sitting on a shelf and all that for a while. And we'll kind of compare the two here shortly. So just taking a look at this one, this is the one that comes with Mace Windu. We do have 3 of the troopers from his regiment, and of course it comes with 2 battle droids. Type 2 battle droids is what I would guess, not the ones from episode 1. Alright, so looking at this in comparison to my other one, this sits up pretty nice and high. Being a tank, they took a couple things here that I was mechanized infantry, so some of the things that I never really thought too much of, and I don't really remember it in the Clone Wars, but maybe they did. I just don't remember seeing it. So we do have a commander up in the top. We got his cannons, which unfortunately with the Technic pieces to hold this on, those cannons like the kind of droop down. So what I might end up doing is I might end up getting some pieces or something, or do something so it tightens that up a little bit, but it's a minor thing. Nice feature is they do have the door that opens to get the pilot inside. So for us, because we got our fat fingers, the kids have nice small little fingers. Me as an old adult, I got fat fingers and all that. Trying to get them in there, that works a lot nicer. Works pretty good. And we do have 3 troopers here. So, and with the troopers, we actually get 1 long rifle. There are pieces here. Let me kind of grab one here. So if you wanted to try and put like I would say maybe like a silencer if he's a sniper or something like that, or whatever. And then we have 4 of these in all. 2 of them are black and 2 of them are a dark gray. So however you wanted to do it, if you wanted to keep your clone troopers with the black and then the battle droids with the dark gray, you could do that, or however. It's very minor in that regard. And of course with Mace Windu, we get his very cool purple lightsaber blade. They did have an extra lightsaber handle, which is very common. And because of doing a different Lego from the other day, I had a black piece, so I just threw that one in there. I could call this a training lightsaber, like a dummy one, where it's just a wood blank or something like that. However, when you get into some of the games and some of the other stuff, typically they start saying that there's like a second mode to the lightsabers where it's just training. So if you hit someone, it just kind of gives them like a buzzing tingle. It doesn't actually lop off a hand or anything. In my reality, hey, why not? For someone just starting, maybe even just give them, a wood blank in there or something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking about this in today's modern version or modern times to look at it, but if you're trying to hold on to something that doesn't seem like it's got a lot of weight to it or whatever else, I don't know. I don't know how much weight that blade would actually have, if any, so maybe putting a stick in there or something like that to try and parry with wouldn't work. I don't know. It's all fantasy stuff, so we just have to have fun with it. Alright, so moving on beyond the weapons, we did open that up. You can get a second figure maybe in there. If I pull this gentleman out, which I kind of pushed him back, so I'll have to try and see what I can do here. I should not have pushed him back. Alright, take one of the shooters. There, get him to sit up a little bit more. And if I have him sit up straight, this still closes pretty good, so I don't really need to push him back. But if I pull him out of there, there is some room back here. And the cool thing about this is, as I turn this around, we do have a ramp in the back, and that's something I was kind of getting to anyways. I'm not used to having a tank as a troop transport, although some of the things I've seen on other channels about what's going on in today's military, being able to haul troops around is starting to become a bigger issue. And because we have like Bradleys and Strykers and stuff like that in the United States, and like Russia's got the BMPs, and other countries have different versions of these things, or you know, they're buying them from manufacturers either from the United States or Russia or whoever else. They're finding that to be a lot bigger benefit to be able to say, I've got a tank or something like that, but we can also carry infantry. Tanks are the king of the battlefield at this moment. For on the ground, infantry is the queen. We are the second most vital thing, because you can drive a tank through a town, but unfortunately when you come house to house and just check for bad guys, which, you know, is an unfortunate thing in the world that we live in, is something that they have to think about. So I really wish it wasn't, but I mean, being someone that was in the Army, and I was silly enough to join the infantry, which I am very proud of, it is just a reality of the world. Like I said, I mean, in our fantasy world here, it's a good bonus. This is a very wide vehicle. I think that works out pretty good. We do have wheels on the bottom, so as I prop this up here, we have some wheels. We do have 4 wheels. There's no tires on them, so on my pool table, this slides pretty nice. To sit here and say this would kind of just hover, because these are hover type vehicles, with whatever hovering mechanism that they use in Star Wars, you know, the repulsor lift or whatever, however that works, or you know, it being a science fantasy, even Star Trek, I consider that still a little bit of science fantasy, although they're a little bit heavier into the science part. It's still a fantasy, because at this point we're creating things that don't fully exist. Although, much like a lot of science fiction, the things that are fiction today become reality tomorrow. I mean, I still think of the flip phone, and I didn't realize it until somebody else had said that the gentleman that originally designed the flip phone loved Star Trek, and he wanted a phone that could seem just like Captain Kirk, open it up and talk. So, you know, that's just the reality. And I've seen that people have actually created their own lightsabers out of using like a plasma torch or something like that to make it work, and they're getting very interesting designs and the things that they can do. So again, what is fantasy today could very well be reality tomorrow. So whether we end up more of a Star Wars or a Star Trek or whatever, even in Star Wars there was a good period, I mean, we don't center on it, but there was a good period of time where the galaxy was at peace, and that's really where I kind of hope that we eventually get to. And a little less of, hey, let's be mad at each other. I mean, we'll always have our differences in the world, but hopefully we'll figure out how to set those differences aside and kind of be nice to each other. So anyways, that's my rant and rave and that, in which, you know, whether you agree or not, or, you know, I'm hoping everyone agrees. I'd rather have silliness and all that than war and strife, because that's not a lot of fun. Okay, So we do have some boxes here. I don't know if, I mean, all depends. I grew up watching G.I. Joe, so as far as I'm concerned, you know, throw a couple of these guys standing up on here or whatever to transport them as well. Maybe you can get a guy on the inside or something, whatever. In today's modern age, that usually doesn't fly too well. But there again, I think of World War II, and we would just cram people, you know, you see them, they just cram people on top of tanks or trucks or whatever to get them moved farther. And that's getting to be a bigger issue. Trying to cover a lot of ground. So they have the tanks or whatever where we do have a hatch in the rear. Maybe we can get a person in there. Maybe you throw a lieutenant or a captain or whatever outside of your tank commander. And then maybe just pile a couple people on the outside. That'd be wonderful, but you know, we'll figure this out. However you wanted to work it. Now, I do have an older one here, so I'm gonna move our figures just off to the side so we can see the difference. So this is what we have today here in 2023, and this, I don't remember exactly how many years ago. And this is what I had got. This is the first one I had gotten years ago. I heard there was one prior to this, which I didn't get. So, you know, if people did get it and it was a lot closer to this, which it very well could be, I just don't know. You know, wonderful. This one is a smaller, sleeker version. I believe this is supposed to be essentially on par with what this is today. But I'll keep this in the background. All right, so we do have the cannons that can raise and lower. We do have a wrench on the old one here. It's got some different type of stud shooters. And the hatch does open. Our only person that can fit in there sits a little bit farther down. Now I could actually probably sit ours down in here. I did not try to do that. So let's sit them down and see if we can't get that to close. I'm doing this without trying to, there we are. Now he's in there. Yeah, that's not going to close. So one way or the other, whether I want him to sit down or stand up, either way, the hatch is going to be open while he's in there. Now if I did take him out and I just wanted to have the two of them, because quite often in combat you don't keep your commander up, you don't want to lose your commander, and if I wanted to just kind of squeeze them in back here and then close this up, yes, I could do that. We're on our old one here. Like I said, you can only get one figure in there, and it is a smaller. That's a smaller print right here. So, if I was to look at this today and say if I had these two and both of these were in service, this might be a lighter scout version, where that's a heavier version of it. So maybe just the two people in here or something like that. Smaller squatter, whatever. Close this down. When I look at the back, this just has a small cargo spot. That's all this has got. But it's mimicking everything else the other one has. I think it's pretty neat. I liked this back when. And like I said, I do remember people complaining because this one was smaller, so I'm guessing the old one they must have gotten was a lot closer to our new one here. Now, looking at Target, because I was at Target yesterday, and I don't know where Walmart or anybody else has got their prices at. Target just had this on sale. I don't know how long it's going to be on sale. Maybe it ends or whatever. I'm recording this on a Saturday, so it probably, or very well could end today. It could go on until maybe Black Friday. I don't know. But it was on sale. I think it was like $5 off or whatever, so I took a jump on it. I've been looking at it for a while. Usually if I can, I'll try and find the stuff on sale. Unless it's something I know I really needed to have. I knew I had one. I didn't remember how it sat up because this has just been sitting on a shelf. And I've got some other things in the way of it. So unfortunately, I just can't look at it all the time. but it has a very strong resemblance to each other, and I'm thinking that this is just the modern take on the same tank. It is a very nice build, kind of interesting how this works. We're using a lightsaber hilt here, and we got some different pieces here to hold that all in, and then it's bricked in with a piece up on top. This is an extra piece from a different set, from one of the X-Wing sets. I figured I'll make this one a command vehicle, so I'll give him an extra antenna. It's got the shooters here, which, you know, I'm not a big fan of the shooters, but you know what, it's built in there. That's perfectly fine with me. If I took it out, it would look a little silly. Like I said, we do have the room here, so if you wanted to put, if you got a couple of these and you wanted to put some troopers on here, or if you were to find that print as a bulk buy somewhere off of Amazon or some other place that you prefer to get your stuff from, just so you can build the army, and you wanted to stack them up there, that would work very well too. As far as the print on this goes in comparison to the older one, I don't see too much of an issue going between them. So if you wanted to create any army, whether we have Mace Windu's or anyone else's, color wise this does not look like it is stuck to one group or the other. Pretty much you could grab anyone else's or whatever, and you can make a great army builder out of this. So whether you're trying to do it for a diorama or role playing, or you know, just to throw on a shelf because it's one of the neatest things that you enjoy building and want to show off, that's perfectly fine too. But those are my takes on it. Let me know what you think in the comments. But these are the two I have. If I get a chance, maybe I'll pick up another one of these. I'm sure that in my Star Wars campaign and that, because you know, the things that we're doing, I'm looking for bases or whatever. These might end up in there or something as something in the background, because you know, the vintage of places that we're going to or whatever, or maybe it's even being used by the Empire today, because I'm in the Rebellion era. So in that regards, in my mind, knowing how the United States has done their military, we have reserve units and that, and quite often your reserve units will get older machines while your frontline units get newer stuff. So I could see this even maybe after the Rebel Alliance takes over control or whatever. There might still be some of these in some of the units, so they may not like it because they don't have all the nice fancy equipment that the rest of the Empire's got. But in my mind, it would make some sense, just like some of the old ships. You know, you're going to see those in some of the backwater units. If you don't need the new machines with all the better capabilities in a frontline unit, you can always put them into a reserve unit or a backwater unit that's just doing a little bit of patrolling or whatever, that doesn't need all the latest and greatest. So with that being said, thank you for visiting today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and keep bricking.